Oh, hey folks! How do you like my erotic pose on the bed? Well, today me and MJ, we went down to New Jersey. It was about a 4-hour drive from Maryland. And we went down to the Chiller Horror Convention. And this was MJ's first year, and this was my second year. I went last year for the October show as well. And this show, I personally liked better because I thought it was far more organized, for the most part, and there was more guests that I really liked this year. Of course, last year was my all-time favorite person that I met of all time, Pee Wee, Paul Rubens. But this year had even more people that I really like to see, and far more like a bunch of quirkier people that you don't see at conventions that much, and I was really glad to see them. Before I talk about who I saw and everything, I got. I was going to mention the one. I bought a whole bunch of weird horror movie bootlegs, but I found finally a bootleg of the entire series of Salute Your Shorts, and they weren't like taped off a noggin or anything recent. They were actually like taped off a Nickelodeon when they were new, so you could tell they were taped on the. They had that '80s tape look. Like, I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about. A lot of things that were taped in the '80s were a little bit softer looking in the picture, but it was far more. The tapes held up and they were real heavy, and they had like a better quality look. You know what I mean if you actually have tapes that are old. And I feel like they hold up better, because a lot of the tape player like recorders in the early '90s and stuff went downhill in quality. And, no, I don't need to get into all that shit. But who did I see this year? Well, the person who I was really excited to meet this year, and we got to go in without waiting in the long line because we didn't feel like seeing Val Kilmer. I don't have nothing against Val Kilmer, but like he isn't really in that much that I care about. I mean, he was in Island of Dr. Moreau, and I know he's been in a lot of big movies and stuff, but like he doesn't really interest me to see. I mean, he's fine and all. I'm just really not worried about seeing him. But I saw Henry Winkler, who most of you will know from the Fonz in Happy Days. And, it was really cool to meet him, and he was really nice. And I found out he's doing the new Adam Sandler movie. I really do like those movies that he does with them. And I always like to talk to celebrities, too, when I meet them. Not about the things that they're always discussing. So I usually bring up weird, different stuff that they probably don't talk about much. At least haven't talked about in the last 15 years or so. I brought up Henry Winkler. Some of you might remember this movie. Probably won't, because it doesn't get aired much, and it isn't really talked about much, and it isn't like a big hit. I talked about the movie that he directed, like one of the only, pretty much, I think the only movie he directed. I think he did some TV, but talked about Cop and a Half. And you'll probably remember that movie about that kid who was on the cop force, and Burt Reynolds. We've talked about it on Don Murph a couple times. But I always liked the movie, and as a kid I watched it like all the time. I was always renting it and watching it all the time, and like obsessing about it. Told him how much I loved that movie, how much I loved him in Night Shift. Some of you might have seen it with Michael Keaton. It was an '80 movie, and him, and like they were running a prostitution ring out of the embalming room. Like they worked in the funeral home embalming room, and they had like a prostitution company in there. It's better than it's hard to explain. It was very funny though, and I suggest you check it out if you get a chance. And then we got to meet Laraine Newman, who we talked to her about Problem Child 2. She was surprised that anyone remembered. She says no one hardly ever brings that up. She said no one ever brings it up. But I mean, I always loved that movie. And she played Lawanda. LaFonda? Lawanda. I always screw it up and get mixed up in the Napoleon Dynamite character. But she was really cool and nice to talk to her, and I told her about how I liked her appearance on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and